Hello, here is lesson 25 of your daily math entry activity. As usual, you should have attempted all of these on your own, not spending all day on it, but making a try at every one. And then you should check your work here and add any scratch work. If I write it on here, you should write it, not just the answers. Your target is to understand all of this. So if you don't understand from watching here, you should get a hold of your teacher and check. Number one, when rounding to the nearest hundred, we are going to the nearest hundred. Which numbers round to 1200 or 1200? So I am wanting to round to that 2 in the hundreds place. So here's my hundreds place. I've got a 1, and I look next door at the 3. Is that 3? And does 3 round up? No, it's got to be 5 or more to round up. So the 3 would round down. So this would round to 1100. So if we were rounding, this would be 1100 or 1100. So that is a no. It does not round to 1200. 1020 tens and 4 ones. Okay, so what is 20 tens? 20 tens is 200, right? 200. So we've got 1,204, 1,200, 4 ones. Would that round to 1,200? Well, yes, because the 0 tells me I'm certainly not rounding up. I'm going to stay right here the same at 1,200. So this does round to 1,200. Make a little note of this. It rounds to 1,200, and that's what we're looking for. And then 1,241. Again, I've got a 2 in the hundreds place. I need to look at the 4 next door, and 5 and above rounds up. 4 and below stays the same. The 100 stays the same. So this one is another yes. Number 2, 28,000 is how many times as large as 280? We could also think of this as 28 tens. We've got 28 tens. We need to make it thousands. So we want to know times what gets us to 28,000. And the deal here is we only have a 10 here, or a 0. And we've got 1,000 here, or 3 zeros. So to place those extra zeros, we need 2 more zeros, right? So that we have 1, 2, 3 to match our 3 over here. So 100 times as large. 817 divided by 3. Here's where you're going to need some room at the bottom of your paper. I'm going to go to another page. 817 divided by 3. 817 divided by 3. We will teach you some other methods for dividing. For now, let's just think about this as how many 3s does it take to get to 817? When you see divided by 3, it means how many 3s do we need to make 817, or as close as we can get without going over. So how many 3s? And I'm going to do the opposite and go up to 817. So I want to know how many 3s, and I'm going to guess some numbers here and see how close I get. And I'm going to guess easy numbers, like 100. I can do 8 times 300 in my head. I'm sorry, 3 times 100. So 100 3s would give me 300. Well, that's a lot, but it's not up to 817 yet. I could do another 100. So that is up to 600, right? So I've got actually 600 so far. So 300 and 300 makes, darn it, 600. And I have basically done 200 threes so far, right? 100 threes there and 100 threes there to get to 600. So let's see how many I have to go. I started with 817. I'm going to take away that 600. So I've got 217. I know I can't do 100 more threes because 100 more threes is 300. But let me see. So if I just look at this 21 part, I do know that 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 7 is 21, which means 3 times 70 is 210. So if I did 3 times 70, 210, ooh, that's really close. I'm going to take away that 210. I only have 7 left. How many threes are in 7? Well, 2 threes. 2 more threes would be 6. I'll take away that 6, and now I only have 1 left. So what this is telling me is that I used 100 threes there, 100 more threes, then 70 more threes, and 3 more threes. So all together, this was 273 threes. Whoops, that should have been 3 times 273. Let's just multiply this out to double check what we have. So right now we're thinking there are 273 threes in 817. I'm going to make a big area model. I'm going to break 273 into its 3 place values, 270 and 3. 3 times 200 is 600. That was that 600 that we took away. 3 times 70 is 210. That was the 210. And 3 times, wait, that shouldn't be a 3. 3 times 2. 72. Oops, mistake. 72. Okay. So 3 times 2 is 6. And altogether, 600 plus 210 plus 6 makes 816, which is 1 away. And that's my remainder 1. So if I have 272 threes, I would have 1 left over. So you should have an awful lot of scratch paper. You should have written all this down. And if some of this doesn't make sense, raise your hand and ask your teacher right now about any of the steps here. So 817 divided by 3. How many threes do we need to make 817 or close to it? We needed 272 threes. We multiplied it out to double check. And that got us really close. It got us to 816. We were 1 away from 817, and that's why we have the remainder 1. So 272, remainder 1. Don't just write this on your paper. Write all of this on your paper. Okay, number 4. Fill in the missing values on the number line. So on this number line, we start at 0 and we are only going to 1. This is just one whole. And the fractions, we have broken this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pieces, and that's why these fractions are tenths, 1/10, 2/10. And I think you know 1/10, 2/10, this would have to be 3/10. And if you remember the one we just did yesterday, 3/10 as a fraction and 3/10 as a decimal are exactly the same. And you can see these all match up that way. 4/10 as a fraction and 4/10 of the decimal, they match. So 2/10 as a fraction will be 2/10 as a decimal. Putting the 0 in front of the decimal is optional. 5/10 will be 5/10. Here's 6/10, so the fraction is 6/10. 8/10 over here, 8/10. And 9/10 would be 9/10. And if you want to put the zeros in front, you can, but you do not have to. Okay, we are on the very last one, the multiplication equation, 65 times 59. And here's where I'm going to draw an area model. I'll draw it over here. $65, 60 and 5, 50 and 9. Okay, 5 times 6, 30. I could, of course, use my chart over here. 5 and 6 meet at 30. Now this can get confusing because you only see 2 zeros, but the 30 and 0 is the 5 times 6, so I have to place 2 more zeros. So this is 3,000, not 300. 5 times 5 is 25, and I'm going to place that extra 0. 9 times 6, let's see, here's the 9, here's that 6, go down to where these meet, and I get 54. So 9 times 6 is 54, and then I'm going to place that 0. And then 9 times 5, right next to it, to 9 times 6, we get 45. And now I've got to add all these up. I think I'm going to add them down first this time. So 295 when I add those, and 3,540 when I add those. And then I better 3,540. I'm moving this number over, and now move this number, 295. I just needed some space to add that up. 5 and 0 is 5. 9 and 4 is 13. 5, 6, 7, 8. And 3,000. 3,835. 3,835. There you go. Double check that you have written all of this. Don't just write the answer. You should have all of that. You should have this. You should have every bit of work I did, including all this work we did, all this multiplication work we did to figure out the division problem. And remember, ask your teacher if you are stuck or if you just don't understand. Okay, thanks for watching.